Pisces. Okay. I think by the time we get to the end of this week, the cards are no longer being particularly subtle with you. Anna. And if you've watched the Monday and Wednesday readings on this channel, you may already know what I mean, because there's been this strange recurring conversation happening through all the cards. We started the week talking about being more ready than you think. Then in the Wednesday reading, we had this whole progression about possibility not being participation. Knowing something, feeling something, understanding something. None of that is quite the same as actually stepping into it. And there was light everywhere in that reading. I mean everywhere. We had the Queen of Cups sitting there with that beautiful glow beside her. We had the echoes of light. We had the lovers with the light coming through the feminine side of the card. The lunar blessing had light tucked underneath the flower. We got to the Hermit, and he was literally carrying the lantern, and underneath the Hermit was Edge of the Wild, basically telling him, wonderful, you found the light, now get your ass out of the cave. By the end of that reading, the entire landscape was illuminated. And I thought that was the message. Take the light outward. Stop using insight only for insight. Let what you know actually illuminate your life. Well, I had already written down the theme for this reading before I pulled any of those cards. I had not been sitting there studying it. I copied the 3 themes into my notes earlier, and I was just pulling them up one at a time as I did the readings. And the theme for today is the light is already in your hand. I can't make this stuff up. So I decided to use Lenormand today, and I pulled 5 cards in a line because Lenormand works beautifully as a story. The first 2 cards are showing me was influencing the situation and where you're coming from. The card in the middle is the heart of the reading, a pivot point, the action, the thing everything is moving through. And the last 2 cards show me where this begins taking you. So my line is birds, compass, heart, dog, and well. And honestly, the story is so clean that I almost don't need to do anything to it. We begin with the birds. Birds is 12, it reduces to 3. And I immediately noticed the 3 has been moving through these readings too. The birds are communication, conversation, information, chatter, negotiation, people talking, messages coming in, sometimes gossip, sometimes useful information, sometimes a whole lot of voices saying a whole lot of things at once. And I think that's important because sometimes we can confuse receiving information with receiving direction. They're not necessarily the same thing. You can have 10 people giving you advice. You can watch 20 videos. You can ask 5 different people what they think. You can research something until you know every possible outcome and still not know what you want. The birds can be helpful, but they can be noisy. And sitting immediately beside the bird is the compass. 42. This card says, I'm here to help you find your way. If there's a journey to be taken or a choice to be made, the compass gives direction. It asks you to look where the needle is actually pointing. Okay? And I think it's pointing north. What is your focus? Where are you going? What are you using as your true north? And here's where this reading started doing that ridiculous thing that cards sometimes do. Before I opened the little book for compass, I had already looked at the birds and the compass together and said, stop asking the birds where north is. And then I opened the book. And the book literally says to listen to your gut and determine who or what might be your true north. This one. Okay, fine. Thank you very much. Because that's exactly the distinction. The birds can give you the information. They cannot necessarily give you orientation. Orientation has to come from somewhere deeper. And look where the compass is pointing in this reading. Right towards the middle of the card, the heart, number 24. This is where I notice another thing. Compass, 42. Here's 24. Same 2 numbers reverse. Both reduced to 6. There's that 6 again. Okay, there it is. 6 has been all over these readings in different ways. Harmony, relationship, reciprocity, balance, choice, bringing 2 things into relationship with one another. And now we have the compass and the heart carrying the same numerical root. Direction and heart. True north and what you love. That's not accidental to me. The heart card says, I am your feelings and emotions. I'm your passions and devotions. And visually, it is two swans forming the heart. Two. Again, we have this imagery of relationship, union, harmony, two parts creating something together. That echoes the Lovers from the Wednesday reading beautifully. The Lovers did not feel to me like some simple romantic card here. It was harmony. And we had the Lovers on Monday too. It came out in the Strange deck, remember? Yeah. So, this is harmony. This is choice. It's asking, how do these two parts work together? How do I stop trying to erase one side of myself in order to make the other side look correct? Because balance is not one side winning. You need the two halves to create the balance line in the middle. And here it is again. Compass in the heart, direction and desire. The thing that makes sense and the thing that makes you come alive. What if those things are not actually meant to be enemies? What if part of the confusion comes from constantly assuming they must be? Sometimes we say, I know what I want, but I should probably do this other thing first. Or, I really pulled toward this, but this other option looks more sensible. Or, I would love to do that. Maybe I need permission, confirmation, more information, another sign. And the card keeps bringing us back to the same place. What is already alive? What is already resonating? What is already giving you direction before you start putting mechanism in front of it? Because sometimes we build so much around something that we stop being able to hear the original signal. And that brings us to the last two cards. The dog is number 18. 18 reduces to 9. And there's that 9 again. We had the Hermit in the last reading, 9. We also had the moon energy moving through this week. And now the dog gives us another 9. The dog is loyalty, trust, friendship, protection, support, reliability. Is a card of something you can depend on. And I love the little description in this deck because the dog is holding the lead almost as if to say, you know what to do, right? Absolutely. That's important. The dog is not standing there begging somebody to tell it which way to go. There's an inherent trust there. And placed after the heart, almost, I almost want to read this as become loyal to what you know is true for you. Not stubborn, not closed-minded, not refusing all outside information. The birds were not bad cards, but at some point you have to decide which voice gets to become authority. Maybe the authority needs to be your own relationship with yourself. Maybe part of this week is learning that inner authority does not mean you never listen to anyone else. It means you know who has the final vote. And then the last card is the Well, number 41, which reduces to 5. And if you've been watching the readings lately, you know 5 was everywhere this week, maybe on the other channel, right? Movement, change, the point where something can't remain exactly as it was. The Well is fascinating because it's about depth, resources, wishes, creativity, what exists below the surface. The little book says you may think you know all the facts, but there may be more to the story. It talks about looking deeper. It talks about wishes that are possible, but require effort. You have to lower the rope. You have to draw the water up. You have to participate in getting what is down there. And that brings us back to Wednesday. Possibility is not participation. The well can contain all the water in the world, but you never lower the bucket, you're still thirsty. That's the reading. You can have all the potential in the world. You can know exactly what you want. You can have intuition. You can feel resonance. You can know your true north, but at some point, you have to put the rope into the well and draw something up. And there's one final visual detail on this card that almost made me laugh. Because in Wednesday's reading, light moved all the way through the spread. A little glow, a hidden light, a lantern, then an illuminated forest. And I made a joke while we were pulling these cards that if the well somehow brought the light back again, I was going for coffee. Well, look behind the well. The bucket is raised and behind it the whole horizon is glowing. There's the light. again. At the deepest point in the reading, at the card that asks you to go beneath the surface, there is still light. So maybe that's a real message. Running beneath this entire week. You're not being asked to manufacture direction. You're being asked to stop drowning it out. The birds can talk. Let them talk. Information can come. Advice can come. Other people's opinions can come. Possibilities can come. But the compass is still in your hand. The heart is still in the center. The dog says, trust what has proven faithful inside you. And the well says, go deep enough to draw from it because the light's already there. And I think sometimes we look outside ourselves for permission because it feels safer. If somebody else tells us what to do and it goes badly, maybe we don't have to own the choice. If we wait for certainty, maybe we never have to risk being wrong. If we keep all the possibilities, right, alive, maybe we never have to grieve the ones we did not choose. And as I'm saying that, look at the light coming in. Look at this, okay? Oh. Just to say that you can't participate in every possible life. Eventually, you choose the one you're actually going to live. And you don't need absolute certainty to do that. You need enough inner coherence to take the next honest step. That is very different. So the week began with, you are more ready than you think, and then move into possibility is not participation. Then maybe this is where we land. The light's already in your hand. And it is, actually. It's actually in my hand. Talk about signs of the universe, right? You are ready enough. You know enough to begin. And now the question is whether you're willing to trust the direction that creates more life in you. Listen to the birds. Notice the signs. Take in the information. But stop asking the birds where north is. Look at the compass. Look at the heart sitting directly beside it. And then decide what deserves your loyalty. Because whatever you continue feeding, working towards, watering, choosing, that's the life you're helping bring into form. And Pisces, maybe the light you have been waiting for has not been somewhere ahead of you at all. Maybe you've been carrying it through every reading this week. You just finally have to use it. Thank you so much for being part of this channel, these readings. Go check out my other channel at Pisces Tarot. And also, if you're interested, I have a Patreon page where I do little cheat sheets at the beginning of the week. I also offer readings. That's probably going to be in the comment section. Thanks a lot. Have a great weekend. I will see you on Monday. Bye. Stay in the light, my friends. Stay in the light.